Hi everyone, welcome to Chris Mars Music, and today I've got another great interview, beaming to you live from the Maldives here in the Indian Ocean. Absolutely stunning weather. Arrived here just two days ago, and looking forward to my stay, where I'll be conducting lots of more interviews via Zoom and lots of social distancing going on. Anyhow, enough of that. Today I've got a great interview with Nina. Now, Nina is an incredible German singer, very much into her 80s music. She is the goddess of Synthian, and if you don't know what that means, then you will find out in a few minutes as she will explain everything. She's a fast rising star, and it's a name to watch out for. Incredible girl, amazing music. Enjoy it. Leave your comments down below. I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode of my Chris Mars Music videos. Take care, stay safe, and see you soon. So, take one, Nina. Hello, Nina, and welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. How are you?
Hey, Chris. I'm good. I'm excited to be talking to you. Thanks for having me.
Not as excited as I am talking to you. It's really nice for you to find the time to have a nice chat about music and what you've been up to and everything to do with your career and so forth. So let's dive straight into the deep end and begin by telling the world how you got into music and what inspired you at the very early age.
I actually always been a massive fan of singing. I loved singing and connecting to people that way. Obviously, early days was my parents, and I very early on listening to songs on the radio, I knew the lyrics straight away. My mom always thought, wow, there's something there. Like, how do you remember? I don't even know that. And I was like 4 or 5 or something very early on. And just always, I had a plastic recorder, a little toy recorder where I would record my voice. I must have been like 6 or 7 that I think my dad gave me. And there was always this love for just, singing and for it to take me to faraway places, to dream and just like some kind of escapism. I started to get a little bit more serious about it when I was 15 and took classical vocal lessons. I did that for about like 3 years. And then I got offered to be a backing singer for a German singer called Jeanette Biedermann, very well known. And she did big stadium tours and things like that. And so I was being a backing singer for a couple of years too. And that's when I really, being on big stage, I went to Top of the Pops and, Bravo Super Show, which is a massive show here, and so TV and also just arena tours. That's when I was like, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. It just felt, I felt so alive on stage. And that's when I really started to kind of, write lyrics and try to connect with people. That's when I moved to London because I'm originally from Berlin.
Mm-hmm. And you're in Berlin now?
I'm back in Berlin, yes, after 15 years or 16 years in London. But London was absolutely incredible. I do believe I'll come back one day. It was just, I met so many interesting people, so many musicians and artists. I've learned so much being in London. I just kind of like my journey really started properly in London, finding the right people and, recording and singing and performing. So this is kind of but the 80s were always a huge inspiration for me. So
I absolutely love Berlin. Actually, I've been there many, many times. I work there very often, and I'm quite interested to find out about the difference between, as you've been working and living in London for a long time as well. What do you find? What is the difference between the music scene in Germany, or specifically Berlin, if you like, and the music scene in London? How do you see a big difference between the two?
I think definitely, especially now, I feel like Germany is very much into, like German lyrics, German songs, in their own kind of embracing our language.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of kind of bands, that just speak basically or sing in German, which is very interesting. And it's actually really hard to do. But they're really embracing that. I do believe also in the electronic scene, I feel like it's perhaps a little darker. It's quite that they're really like that dark electronic, dark synth pop, background. we've got Kraftwerk and all these Rammstein, and it's just like kind of, it's got balls and
Kraftwerk is one of my favorite bands. They really are. They're incredible. Very inspirational.
It's incredible, yeah. And I think the UK is, of course, has that as well. But I feel like the UK is perhaps a little bit more. I always say this. I feel like more colorful. I don't know why. It just seems more. I wouldn't say poppy or something, but it's just maybe a little less dark. And you've got all these great talents coming. I mean, to be honest, that's why I moved to London, because my favorite bands are actually from the UK. OMD, Depeche Mode, Queen, David Bowie. Those are like my heroes. And of course, Flock of Seagulls, big fan.
Right.
No, honestly, that's kind of why I was drawn to London, but it's quite different, I'd say, German music culture and then the British one as well. It's quite a difference. You probably know it as well. If you've lived here in Berlin, you probably kind of, experience the difference as well, especially maybe back in the day. So.
Yeah, I mean, when I was working there often, I did know, I mean, there are more German speaking artists in Germany, obviously, but I find that because obviously traveling to other countries as well, I find that the German speaking ones are obviously confined to the German speaking countries. They don't really do much out of, or very, very rarely do you hear of a German sung song anywhere else in the world other than in the Germanic speaking countries, Austria, Switzerland, etc. But there's some great German music out there, really, really good stuff. Absolutely. It's certainly changed over the years, that's for sure. I think it's evolved very, very quickly over the last say 30 years. But Germany was always the forefront of electronic music, and that's something that really, really inspired me. Especially, you mentioned Kraftwerk. I know that bands like Coldplay always relate to Kraftwerk as one of their biggest inspirations, and they really are the incredible pioneers of using.
Oh, we just said it at the same time.
Sorry?
We just said pioneers at the same time.
Yes, absolute pioneers. Yeah. So after you start, you were saying after you your initial sort of break into the music industry, you came over here into the UK, where I am based here in London. And what were you actually doing in London, and how did you move forward within the industry whilst you were here?
I mean,
you got to meet different artists and different songwriters, etc. Tell us a bit about the people that you met here and who you're working with.
Yeah, I mean, 15 years is a long time. It did take a long time to get settled a little bit. I was kind of, doing a bit of backing singing for a pop rock band for a while, just trying a few things. I was even trying to be in a girl band at one point. We even went to Metropolis and recorded a few songs there and never really got anywhere. But I think about 2010, that's when I got signed to Aztec Records, and I started to work with my collaborator back then, Lau. And it was kind of just, we stumbled upon the synthwave scene, and I felt like, this is something that feels very much me, because it's so inspired by kind of 80s music. And that's when really things started to kick off. I was collaborating with other artists and got more offers, and I started to perform. To be honest, when I was performing, didn't really come that easy. I loved it, but I was used to being a backing singer, so you kind of safe in the background. The eyes aren't really focusing on you that much. You just support the thing. But being a lead singer, being the center of attention really on stage was a thing I had to get used to. I was definitely having stage fright. I would get very would have coughs and just feel very sick before I had to go on.
Really?
Days before, it was very bad. It wasn't a natural thing for me. But I started to really, after every month we would have a show, and I guess after maybe a couple of years, I was starting to actually really enjoy it. And it came more natural. And I think, having the audience also just being really positive and singing along your lyrics and stuff like that, it just gives you some kind of strength, and you start to believe more in yourself, and just getting into the synthwave scene and making music that you really believe in and that you really connect with, that come from the heart, just was what I needed, you know. So it was kind of like, I've been doing this now since 2010, I'd say. My first single, We're the Wild Ones, came out in 2013. So since then, you know, I went on tour with Erasure. Massive thing for me. It was a complete dream come true, you know. And they're both so sweet, Vince and Andy, and I learned a lot being on tour with them, and just you know, being in front of their audience, and they were so welcoming over there in America. And so it was just one of those things that really shaped me, and really was like, I've got to keep doing this. I want to just evolve as an artist, keep being being me.
Erasure, they actually just half an hour ago on the radio here, they just played their very, very latest new release, which has just come out today. I believe. I've
got to check it out. Yeah, they're doing great stuff.
Good, really good stuff. I mean, Vince Clarke was genius.
Oh, I know. He actually had like a little Anto had like a little mini Korg with me. It was like black with red keys.
Right.
I was sponsored by them, and it was like super cute. And I didn't want something huge because I was starting off a little bit playing keyboard. And he was like, "Oh, that's cute. What's that?" So I was like, "Oh, he's looking at my little synthesizer. He's obviously genius, and you know, he's seen it all." And I'm like, "Oh," I was just kind of like humbled by the situation, and just like Andy was such a sweetheart as well, and just watching him perform, just being this hero on stage, you know, it's just, you know, moved me to tears. I would watch them after my show and, you know, see them and own the stage. I was like, oh my God, this is just incredible. But yeah, they're very sweet, very nice guys.
Actually, when I came back off tour with Flock of Seagulls in '86, I had I was asked to go and audition for them as backing vocalist.
No way!
I met Andy in Hampstead, and I didn't actually audition. It was just a discussion. He is holding auditions in a pub, just meeting people and talking to them. I never got a call back, but those were the days when I had a lot of hair, so I probably didn't quite fit into it then.
That's such a cool. That's so really cool.
It was that was great. So yeah.
Did you guys stay in touch after that? Or?
No. It was just through somebody from the band. They heard of me and liked what I did and wanted to see if I'd go on tour with them, but they got two girls instead. So at the time, so
they had two girls actually when I was. I wonder if they've been playing with them for a long time. It was two really cool backing singers that they had on stage. I mean, this was 2014, so maybe they were.
This is a long time before then.
Yeah. So maybe not. Maybe they're not even singing.
Maybe another tour. Maybe it was their first tour. Who knows?
Yeah.
So. Your songs, your music is so good, and I urge people to check out your links, which will be put down below here at the usual places in the comment section of this video. But it's such good music. I love listening to it. It's got such an incredible sound to it. It's sonically, it obviously has that 80s feel, that retro feel, which is very, very unique actually, even though it reminds the listener of that era. You do have a very original and unique sound. What would you say is your signature sound? That something that you feel runs through your DNA that you want to keep bringing out in your records?
Well, I mean, definitely, if you go into instrumentation, I'm not sure, it's definitely synthesizers. That's like the Nina sound is synthesizers. You know, you've got, I don't know, I guess what we try to do is something that's retro, you know, has a bit of an 80s sound in there, but still modern. So it's kind of like a little bit of a hybrid, you know. Yeah. I feel like it's one of the most difficult things for an artist is actually to have to find your own sound, to be very distinctive, for people to say, oh, that's the Nina sound, or things like that, you know. So it's like that takes years, and I feel like maybe I'm getting there, but
yeah.
You know, I'm working on new records now as well, and having this time off because of COVID forced me into literally just not being distracted by anything but making music and what you really want to do. And although my songs are still very Nina, there's definitely a little bit of a shift. I have maybe, for example, also the electric guitar in it, which I didn't have really much that before, and it's just kind of much more me in it because I've written them a lot more than, instead of collaborating, for example. So my new single is going to be, just I've written it. And it's perhaps a little bit more electronic, less classic synthwave, a little bit more, maybe I'm trying to reach a wider horizon or something like that. But yeah, synthesizers for me, it's always a very dominant instrument that I have to have a Nina sound. And yeah, we see what people say.
Do you play the piano yourself?
I play a bit of keys. Yeah, I'm not trained or anything. Right. I like to play a bit when I'm on stage. Just a bit of the lead melody. But I wouldn't call myself a real, professional keyboard player or something. But I do love it, and I want to get more into it. And but yeah, that's kind of the instrument that I feel really drawn to, and I think I should really just work more towards playing properly. Just much more. Not just singing, but really getting into playing keyboard as well. I tried guitar once. Didn't really feel like I was good enough for that, so I was like, okay, let's just stop that. So I just focused on keyboard synthesizers. I mean, I've got my little mini Korg here in the background, MS-20 Mini, which is amazing at just being experimental and trying weird radio frequencies and just being a bit geeky with it.
They're great. I have a lot of plugins that I use here, and the MS-20 is one of them.
Yeah. There you go.
They're really, really good. Yeah. All the old Korg. I remember many years ago, I used to go into this store in Denmark Street in London. I don't know if you've been to Denmark Street, where the music stores are. And there was a shop there, and they used to have, I forgot what it was called, but it was the Korg keyboard, but it was like a huge bank of just like the old Moogs, with the cables, to connect everything. And it was £5,000. This was back in the early 80s. It was so expensive. It was ridiculous amount of money. I mean, you could buy a house for that. It was a new technology at the time, and they were showcasing it, and it always looked amazing. Just those keyboards, you can't beat them. They're just such fun. In fact, you got a great shop in Berlin. Just Music.
Oh yeah, do you know the name?
Just Music.
Okay. I've got to go there.
It's got amazing. Have you been there?
No.
Fantastic. It's on 4 floors or 5 floors. It's music heaven. There's one complete floor full of every keyboard you can think of.
Okay, you got to send me a link.
Yeah, I'll send you a link. Well, it's justmusic.de. Just check it out. Okay. It's so good. I bought a lot of my equipment here from there, a lot of it, and it's because it was a lot easier for me to pick it up from there and put it in my car and drive back home. And I was going there.
So you would drive from Berlin back to
London?
Often
I take my car, because I want to take a lot of my equipment with me.
Yeah, makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, but so that's great, that little Korg. Well, what about your future? You got some new releases coming up, and also you've been collaborating with some mutual friends of ours, I believe.
Yes, exactly.
Would you like to tell us about that?
Yeah. The very sweet, inspiring, and talented Ricky Wilde.
Mr. Ricky Wilde, who I did a wonderful interview with a few weeks ago. And if you're watching this, check it out. Go to Ricky Wilde on my YouTube and check it out.
Very inspiring. Yes, everybody check out the video. Very funny and inspiring. We worked together on. We did 2 songs for my previous album, Synthian.
What were the names of those songs?
Gave Up on Us and Runaway.
Right.
Runaway, actually, I would say, is one of the most popular songs I've had on the entire album. It was just, people loved it. Everyone was posting about it, as well as Synthian, the main theme, which is a love note to my fans. But Runaway did really well. It Gave Up on Us, of course, as well. So we did those 2 songs. And I moved back to Berlin. We were, damn it, we want to do more. I'm here, now you're there. Let's just see what happens. Let's just, send stuff back and forth, and maybe we can create something. And we've literally just been writing. I mean, maybe we've done like 5, 6 songs or something, or more. We felt very inspired by each other. I love working with Ricky. It's, you know him. He's such a sweet, humble guy and so talented. He's got these amazing melodies in his head. And I just really, I feel very grateful to be working with him. And the song, one of the songs, I don't know if I want to give away the title yet, but I'm doing a trilogy of Nina singles for the summer, so back to back. And the third one will be one of our songs that I've written with him. And it's really, really cool. I think people are really going to like it.
When are you going to release that?
So our song is probably going to come out, I'm saying probably August.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm heading for August because I'm going to have my first new Nina single will be out early June. And then there will be another one, which a producer is Radio Wolf, who I'm working with a lot at the moment. And we've got exciting collaborations coming up as well. And so he's done the two singles. And then the song I'm doing with Ricky will come after that. So probably August time.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so it's really
what about live shows? What do you have? Do you have any ideas as to when, or does anyone have any ideas as to when we're going to be going out live in the concerts?
Yeah, so
concerts.
I've got this great show planned with Ollie Wright, a very well-known name in the scene, in the synthwave scene, super talented, sweet guy. And we've been meaning to do this show together for a long time, but now it's been rescheduled, I think, 3 times now because of COVID, very sad. But I believe possibly this time it will happen because it's in December in London, 5th of December at Le Lafayette, new venue, very cool. And I think probably by then things will be better. And even if it means you have to show your pass, you've been vaccinated or whatever it happens. No, it's hopefully will happen, but that's going to be a really cool show because I'm pretty sure it's nearly sold out. He pulls a lot of great audiences, and I'm just going to do the kickstart of the night. And yeah, it'll be really fun. And I think everyone is just so desperate to just get out there and see live music that everyone just will be in such good spirit. And then after that, I have a show in Berlin. That's going to be nice.
Oh, where's that?
That is at a club called the Berlin Private Club. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know it. Might be a newish club. I'm not sure.
Where is it exactly?
Good question. I think it's probably like central Berlin. It will be in the center somewhere. Berlin Privatclub, it's called in German.
Okay.
But if it's on my website and everything, I love livemusic.com. And that would be good. I'm playing with a band called Adam is a Girl, a Berlin-based synth pop band, very cool as well. And yeah, it's just nice to play in my home city, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
Get my parents to come over, you know.
Right. Oh, that'd be great. Is that going to be later in the year?
It's all December, yeah. I didn't want to, I kind of just, you know, hold off on anything else in between because it was just too risky. I don't want to cancel and disappoint fans. So I just said, okay, December is a good place to start.
Yes. Well, hopefully things will be better by then.
Yeah,
exactly. To move about a bit more around the world. Yeah. Putting your 80s inspired music to one side, do you have any plans to delve into other genres of music, or do you want to continue down that road as much as you can? Is there anything else that you've really wanted to get your head around and produce as well?
I mean, I'm very happy with what I'm doing, you know. I don't think I would or I'd be interested in swaying too far away from it right now. There's one thing that I'm really interested in doing, which is a little bit more perhaps music that's a bit more filmic. I've got a song on my Synthian album called The Distance, which is exactly what I kind of wanted to do. So I sat down with Synthian, my producer in Sweden, and said to him, look, I want to do this kind of song. Can we do this? Yeah, totally with you. Let's do it. And we just, from scratch, we just did something very eerie and bare at first, where it's literally almost just my vocals. You get a bit of strings coming in, and then it just kicks off at the end with massive chorus, drums, but it's something that you would see maybe for a dramatic scene of a movie. So it's just, you know, just getting a little bit into soundtrack. And that's something I would love to do, compose a little bit more for that. But apart from that, I'm happy with what I'm doing now. Electronic, synthy, bit of rock in it, rock elements in it. I'm really happy with that. I don't think I'm going to sway away too far from that. Not at the moment. You never know. You always evolve as an artist, but right now I can't see myself doing anything. Yeah,
I mean, the reason why I ask is because I found myself doing stuff now that I always wanted to do, but never really found the time or the energy to do it. But I kind of fell into it, and one of them is electronic music, ambient music, sort of inspired by Brian Eno. And I'm doing an awful lot of this stuff, and I'm releasing an awful lot of it now. And I'm so excited to do it because it's so inspirational, and it's all synth based, all plug-in based, ambient, ethereal. And I've always loved listening to that music, but coming from as a singer, as a professional singer and keyboard player, I'm used to playing and performing songs. More commercial songs and pop songs and rock songs especially, but releasing an album which I did 4 years ago, which was purely with a full band and real instruments, and going into this ambient scene was something I always wanted to do, but never really found the time to do it. So I find that a lot of musicians I know who are used to writing into certain style of music have this point in their lives at some point where they kind of, it's as if a little door opens and it's like, that's what I want to do now. You always wanted to do it. It's a case of it just happens, it just comes out of thin air. And I was wondering if you have that kind of feel towards a certain genre, like you say, yes, perhaps into the cinematic style. Perhaps in another year or 2 or 3 or 5, you might want to do something completely different. In that, it happens. It's funny how I'm fascinated by the way musicians tend to just suddenly release something completely different, and it's fantastic. I remember Paul McCartney. A few years ago, suddenly released it was like a classical album, it was totally different, but you could hear his style going through it.
It's still them.
It's like still there, and it was amazing. Then he went into doing theatre stuff for theatre, and so it's coming from the Beatles to that is quite a big leap. But absolutely, for him, obviously, he's a genius writer anyway. But I think everyone inside them has a hidden little hidden agenda when it comes to trying something else, no,
definitely.
I think it's always good to encourage that, because if the urge is there, go for it, and then you will, the creativity will come out, and
I feel like with the cinematic thing, I'm a huge, obviously, fan of cinema and movies, and there's something about it sometimes the how do you say it? I mean, it's like the music, the song makes the scene. You watch a scene, it's like you could be crying. It's so emotional because of the song that comes on, or and it's just it's such a big thing, and I would love to. I don't know. I just have this dream of watching a movie and then my song comes on, and even if it's just an instrumental or something that I created, and that's just a dream of mine. Getting more into that, I've released an EP with Lakeshore Records, who, they did the soundtrack for Stranger Things, which is obviously, we all love, and especially, people that love 80s music. And so that was a big deal. And they're such nice guys, and they just kind of get it. And that would be maybe also an option to maybe go down that route, just do more with them. See what happens. The EP that they did with me is called Control. And again, that was with Lau, Oscillion, and another song we did with Sunglasses Kid. And those songs were actually very interesting. The soundtrack of Drive, the movie Drive. I don't know if you've seen it. Very cool movie. Oh, you have to watch it. Ryan Gosling. Okay. Yes. Right. Just a little tip there. I think you love it, and the soundtrack is very good. Cliff Martinez was the guy who composed the soundtrack for it, and he basically, Lakeshore Records contacted us, or I don't know how it came about, and they basically wanted to have a synthwave artist making original music out of some of his scores. So we had a list of his scores and said, whichever you feel connected to, if you can make an original song out of it, would be cool. We put in our remix album, which is the Reimagined remix album. And we did, we gave them as much as we could. All of us were so inspired. So we did 5 tracks. And then they were like, we can't really decide. We like all of them. So why don't we just do a Nina EP out of it? So it was pretty exciting. So rather than just being one name of the whole remix album, next to a lot of great artists, it was just basically a Nina EP, which was really, really cool and exciting. And so that was a little bit more going into that kind of cinematic theme I'm really into. It was real original songs, but you have that more cinematic instrumentation, underneath the singing. Yeah.
Oh, well, and we can listen to that. That's obviously been released. That's been out there. Released. Yeah. When did that come out?
That came out early December last year. So yeah, It's on my Bandcamp, and I Love Nina Music is my Bandcamp. So people can check it out there, or on my website anyway. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure people are going to want to listen more and more of your wonderful music. I really like your style, and listening to your voice. You've got a beautiful voice, and it sounds wonderful. The whole dynamic of the sound is so good. It's really, really great, and I love it. And who knows, maybe we can do a collaboration as well sometime.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Always up for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're inspiring me just listening to your music. So yeah, have a little listen to my little ambient music and see what you think, and maybe there's something there.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, definitely.
Or get Ricky on board. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You do one with Ricky.
Sorry?
You do one with Ricky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, he is so talented, isn't he, old Ricky? He really is, and such a lovely, lovely guy.
Yeah.
Such a wonderful conversation with him the other day.
Godfather of synth.
Yeah. So, well, that's really, really interesting. Hearing your story from an early age up to now. So, what does the future hold for you? What is your vision, your plan now for world domination?
World domination. Domination. I don't
know. Realistically, how do you see the future, and what path would you like to go down, and how achievable is that path for you?
I mean, I guess I would just love to perform more, get back on the road, bigger shows. A dream of mine, having a sold out show maybe one day, or a sold out tour.
Oh, I'm sure
that's a dream, it's hasn't happened yet, but that's something I would love to work towards. Just keep releasing songs, and I want to do Nina album 3 next year, and really just take my time with it, to make sure that it's gonna smash more than the other 2, I guess. Just keep it up. Hopefully, I mean that's everyone's goals. I think evolve as an artist, and release more music, and collaborate also with other artists. I love collaborating with artists. It's so much fun and very inspiring. Keep writing with others. Yeah, and it's just really what I'm doing now, but just maybe on a bigger scale. So,
do you find it easy to write music, or do you get certain blocks where you just can't get anything out?
I definitely have like phases where I don't feel inspired and motivated.
So what do you do when you have that feeling? How do you remotivate yourself?
I just, to be honest, I just distract myself. I just let it happen. I don't force myself to do music when I don't feel like it. I don't think that's much point in doing it. So, I'll play with my cat. I don't know, watch movies that hopefully will inspire me again. It's usually, it's not for long, you get those blocks, or writing as well, sometimes you just have weeks where you just don't feel like writing. It's I love writing and poetry and things like that, but sometimes you just don't feel like it. I just distract myself, and I just let it happen. I don't force myself to do it when I don't feel like it. But I feel very inspired. For example, when I'm working with Ricky, he's sending me an instrumental or an idea, and not once he sent me something that I didn't love right away. And so I'm like, I have to record it straight away. And sometimes I'm too busy and I can't record it straight away with one of the tracks actually now that he sent me. And I've been sitting on it for 2 weeks because I've been too busy. And I'm itching to record it. I'm like, I really just want to do it. So luckily, Ricky comes to save the day and has been helping me with, or Radio Wolf as well. They've been really good in helping me just keep being inspired, when times were really rough last year. And
well, take us through that process then. So how, for example, take Ricky, for example, would he come up with a piece of music for you, or would you come up with a piece of music and send it to him and then he'd work on it? Or is it something that you discuss together? How does it work? And how do you go from the idea to the finished product?
It depends. Everything is kind of, we've tried it all. When I was over there and recorded our songs, it was pretty much from scratch. We just, oh, we want that kind of sound. Let's try this synth and things like that. Oh, this beat. Oh, can we do a little bit more Robin, a bit more poppy? Or I'm a Robin fan, so that name might have dropped once or twice for my previous stuff that I did with him. But this time, a lot of the times, he sent me an instrumental, and then I wrote the top line, and we both wrote the lyrics together. This song that he sent me, for example, he's done the idea. He's already written the top line and just said, look, just rewrite things that you don't feel connected with. But the song's pretty much there. So it just really depends. We've done it all. Sometimes it's really just from scratch and we both just go back and forth. But we basically, I feel like we on the same wavelength, we really get each other and we like the same things pretty much all the time. And so it's just very inspiring to work with him, and it's a good team dynamic with him. Really
right.
Good. Yeah.
Interesting. With other artists I've spoken to, we talk often about our go-to sounds that we have, which we go to when we're recording, the ones that we love. So do you have any go-to sounds or keyboards that you particularly love working with that inspire you?
There would be a lot. Yeah, I mean, plugin wise, I like the Arturia. I use a lot of Arturia.
Very good.
Very good. I'm a big fan of the reverb. It's called Intensity. Don't know if you know it. That's really good.
Arturia,
yeah.
Intensity. I've got the Arturia plugin with various keyboard sounds. Very, very retro.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
I've also got the Kraftwerk plugin, which is amazing.
Oh, you can send that to me.
It's got all the old sounds.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it's I love what you can do these days.
Yeah.
And I really got into having this year off. I really got into Logic and got very geeky with the plugins and everything like that I wasn't so much into before because I had a team around that kind of did pretty much a lot of these things. But now I've just Radio Wolf has kind of introduced me to a lot of things as well. And yeah, I with Synthian, for example, I was really into the Oberheim OBX. That was
Oberheim was fantastic.
Beautiful lash sound.
OB8. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
he dark blue keyboard, weighs about half a ton. Yeah.
So one day I want to have a studio with all those Lush synthesizers, just looking at them and playing with them. When I was recording with Richard X, also beautiful, very talented, nice guy. Obviously, he's been doing a lot of things. Worked with Goldfrapp and Annie and Erasure, and I went to his little studio where he lives. He's got two studios, one near London Bridge, where I recorded Beyond Memory with him, but also we wrote Unnoticed at his home studio, and he literally it was just full of synthesizers. I thought I was in a dreamland. It was really cool. There was one that he said, "This one is very special. I can't tell you who it belonged to, but it's from the 60s and it's a very, very expensive synthesizer."
What was
because
it?
of who owned it, and he didn't. I don't actually remember even what it was. It's so long ago now. It's like 5 years ago. But he did say it would be very expensively sold it now. I'm like,
right.
Does it make Prince? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. I think those are kind of the sounds that I really like. I don't know what your favorite is. What's your favorite then, Chris?
Well, when I'm doing productions, I like to use Omnisphere a lot from Spectrasonics. So I like to use a lot of the strings on there. There's some Adagio strings, which you can just hold one note and it's just got a really pure sound to it. So for that kind of string, just a very high string, as if you've got a beautiful orchestra playing. And it's got a nice touch of reverb on there. It's just a beautiful string. That is something I use quite a lot. I love using UVI organs, the French company. Universal Instruments, absolutely fantastic organ sounds, and mellotrons I use a lot of. So I like to mix the mellotron with some strings sometimes, or with some more voices and the choirs from Spectrasonics to get a beautiful sort of choral but sort of dark sort of mellotron sound, very, very retro. And organs I use a lot of Hammond B3s and special sort of jazzy organ sounds. They're great for the rock tracks that I do because you can use the wheel and give it the Leslie, the Leslie effect. Yeah. So those are the more of the natural sounds, if you like, even though they're all computer generated. But with pianos, I like to use a real grand piano in a recording studio. So I normally book into studios, or I use plugins from Native Instruments.
Yeah, Native
company. So I'm a huge fan of Native Instruments. I've got the 49 key here, which is my little studio one, and I've got a Korg electric piano here.
Awesome.
But which is my go-to little practicing.
Yeah.
But this is connected to all the instrumentation, all the plugins. But yeah, I mean, there are so many. You can go on for the rest of your life because there are so many coming out. But in fact, I was telling Ricky there was a new one from Arturia, which is a vocoder, which they've just brought out, which looks absolutely amazing. You can download the demo for about 20 minutes, then it stops. Yeah. But within those 20 minutes, you can go through every single sound. And you've got just these old, incredible and modern vocoder sounds from the old vocoders from the 70s, where you just sing into the microphone, press a chord. And so it's really, really good. So check that out from Arturia. Just go to their website.
Yeah, I definitely will.
And anyone from Arturia Management, give me a free download. So we got that. Yeah, sponsored by Arturia.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, there are so many wonderful companies out there. But for me, Native Instruments is by far one of the best because they've got such a great company based in Berlin. It's a German company.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, well, based in Berlin and Los Angeles, I think. But they're originally from Berlin, I believe. I do believe, I might be wrong, but I'm sure they are. I'm quite convinced that they are a German company. Yeah, but they are so good. I'm a huge fan. They have amazing technology, not only the hardware, but they also got the studio pad system where you can use it for sequencing, for live. It's really good for knocking out sequences and things like that. So definitely, you can do. I mean, they've got also, if you're a DJ, which I'm not, but if DJs use a lot of their equipment too, so they've got everything. They've got all the orchestration. They've got the hardware, the software, and very, very up to date. And they're great. You can get the bundles from Native Instruments, which have all the strings, all the action drums. The Japanese drums, the syncopated stuff. So there's a lot. You hear it in all the movies. You hear all all this. That's all Native Instruments. Most of it's Native Instruments, so they've cleaned up there. But yeah, there are so many good ones, and you can go on forever downloading. I had this conversation with Ricky actually, and it's.
What did you say then? What was his favorite to go to?
What was his? It was. I can't remember offhand now, but we did discuss this. Check the video out; it'll tell you.
I'll watch it properly again. Yeah,
I gave him a link to the vocoder one actually, I think, and but yeah, there are so many. But so that little keyboard behind you, the old Korg, is how long have you had that?
It was sent actually to me by Synth Delight, which is a German synth store. They also do DJ. They have DJ's Delight, and that's a new thing they opened, just focusing on synthesizers. And they kind of got questions. I think you would be perfect for it. Like, do you want to try out some synthesizers? So they sent it to me, and I did a demo for them for their website, and they actually gave it to me. So I was very happy to be able to keep it because I was like, I really want it. It just looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It's it fits perfectly into my little studio here. And so I was really happy. But yeah, no, it's I just love how you can be experimenting with it. And there's just so many random sounds. It's just like you don't know what you're gonna get. It's just a really cool sound. I love it. I don't know if you've ever played with it. Did you say you you had a go at the MS-20 Mini before, or MS-20?
I've had a little play with it. I don't have one, but every time I'm in the shops, I do play around with it. I spend a few hours just mucking around with the keyboards. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
There are some incredible. There are some German companies. I forgot the name now. They've got modular systems, small units made of with wood casing, with small cables, and there's a whole wall of the stuff. You get little blips and little electronic beeps and things, but they're all musically related. If that makes sense. It's up to us as musicians to make them musically audible to the ear. But there's so much technology in there. It's really going right back on itself now, firing right back to the early 70s, where people want to get their hands on the cables now and then attach this sound to that and link them up here and there.
It's more fun, you know?
I must say, I'm a huge fan of plugins, purely because this laptop I'm speaking to you on, this MacBook Pro, has got, God knows, if you were to buy all the keyboards, it'd probably be about £1 million worth of keyboards. Literally, as you know, you can have the Fairlight, which used to cost so much money in those days. The Synclavier, which was the same, £100,000 back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Now it's like £8 download off the App Store. It's crazy.
It's great to be able to do that. Absolutely, yeah. And they're so good these days. Like today, the sounds are, it's very, very good. So it's good that we can, do that. Who would be able to afford all that? It's like, more creative, faster.
Yes. I mean, in the old days, even with the, with the outboard effects, you had the delays and the compressors and everything. Okay. It's good to have those as hardware these days, but you can do so much with the plugins, and they're pretty much almost identical to the originals, as you probably know, using these new plugins that we will have. But that's excellent. Well, Nina, it's been fascinating talking to you. It's been really, really great, and thanks so much for sharing your time and your experiences in the past, and your music, and your visions for the future and where you want to go, and making such brilliant music. And I'm going to put all the comments down, all the links down in the comment section. And if you're listening to this on a podcast, just tell us. Then you can tell us what your links are now. If you'd like to, just tell us where's the best place people can contact you to listen to your music. Where would you?
You can listen to my music on, you can go to my website where all the links are there, iloveninamusic.com. Also, I'm on Spotify. You can type in Nina Synthian or Beyond Memory. You will find me there. And of course, social media, I Love Nina Music is my social name, or Instagram is Nina Sound UK. And that's it.
That's fantastic. And of course, if you're watching this, then you can see the comments down below. There will be links to all your socials there. Well, thank you so much. And it leaves me, it's a great pleasure. And
likewise, thank you so much for talking to me.
And I hope to see you in the flesh sometime, and hopefully work with you perhaps sometime in the future. And I'd like to say thanks again, and keep up the good work. And it leaves me to say thank you, bring out the old board and say Nina has been fantastic today. Check out her site down below, and listen to her wonderful music, and buy her music, and buy mine as well.
Christmas music. It's awesome.
Christmas music, all the links are down below. Thanks a lot, Nina, and take care, and auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah.